Good morning, everybody. Orin J here with another War of the Visions video, and we've got our first batch, and it is a big batch of +6 gear hitting the game this Wednesday. We're going to go over that gear. We're going to talk about kind of the pattern that is this first wave of +6s. We're going to briefly look at least at each piece of gear that's coming out, and I'm going to talk to you about which ones I think are now good, because some old pieces of gear that were at best niche before are now pretty dang good options, especially for newer players. So let's jump in. Now, for each category of weapon, we're going to start with weapons. The R rarity piece of gear, in this case the longsword, the SR rarity piece of gear, the Mithril in this case, and an MR piece are getting upgraded. For the R pieces of gear, what these are now becoming in this game are very serviceable pieces of very, very new player gear. They're very cheap to build, like to craft these things, cost you what? Some recipes and very easily farmable materials, except for maybe the heart quartz, which you get from like arena and a shop. Well, we'll have to see exactly how hard heart quartz is to get, but for the most part, these are very good, like budget pieces of gear for new players. They now have slash attack 15 or whatever attack type 15 on them, and the stat lines get a buff. For example, this has 119 attack and 15 slash attack up. If you're brand new and you just want to craft a piece of +6 gear, these R pieces sometimes are going to be pretty good. The sword is not the best example of that, because in the sword's case, the Mithril Sword is actually significantly better. It gets up to 20 slash attack up at +6 and 158 assault. A 158 assault, 20 slash attack up piece of gear is pretty good. In most cases with Mithril gear, you run the accuracy type in some like budget accuracy comp build or something like that. For the Mithril Sword, I don't think that's the case. I think if you were going to build one of these, you'd go for the assault version here. 158 assault with 20 slash attack up is good. The problem with this one is I don't know at what stage an account would want to build like a Mithril Sword, because this is not that much worse. And eventually, you'll just want to build an MR piece of gear instead. But if you wanted to build a Mithril Sword, go assault, go slash attack +20 with 158 attack. That's pretty decent. Okay, the Sleep Blade got its +6 upgrade. Let's scroll down. Previously, the Sleep Blade was famous for having a 25% chance to inflict sleep on an auto attack. It also gave slash attack up 15, but now crucially, it gives magic attack up 10. So a very good option for your like hybrid, like magic scaling sword using units in the game. Note that the magic version of this sword now went from 126 magics all the way up to 176 magic. Or you could go with 123 magic, 24 accuracy variant. So a couple different versions of this sword now are pretty good. I personally love the 176 magic. That giving magic attack up to a sword is something that in the past was relegated to like Adelard's TMR, right? So this is a big time upgrade for the Sleep Blade, and it is now a very nice piece of gear to be added to this game. So if you want to farm one of those for your magic scaling sword users, red mages of the world, right? Boom, here you go. You have some options there to build that. Okay, Brotherhood is getting its +6, or in this case with this like collaboration gear, sometimes it's +1, but anyway, it's getting its upgrade. It is getting over 30 attack. It goes from 153 to 184, which is really nice. Gains 1 more accuracy and 2 more crit. The big buff here is the slash attack stays the same, but the water attack goes from water attack 8 to water attack 30. So a big DPS boost for Tyus or any other one-handed water sword using unit. 30 water attack on a weapon is very, very nice. Slash attack 8. This is a big upgrade to this sword, so Tyus is going to love that. This is still going to probably be his go-to weapon, and you get it from a bingo board. So it's pretty easy to get. To craft the +6, it's not going to take much, right? Like 2 recipes, 7 hearts quartz. We'll have to see about getting this stuff. We'll get to learn all of that come this Wednesday. I'll probably check it out on stream. Honestly, I'll probably stream that part live. Okay, let's go next. Two-handed swords. Okay, two-handed swords. The R rarity, the Claymore in this case, has a very, very serviceable build here. I actually used one of these on my brand new account at the last anniversary. I think I did it at the 1-year anniversary. I built one of these for my Ruins turn that I was using. I built the Assault version. The Assault version at +6 now has 161 attack, which is good, and 15 slash attack up. As a brand new player, as something you can build for relatively cheap, I think this is a decent option. Again, all of it depends on how easy is it going to be to get this like lowest tier of heart quartz. I can't imagine it's going to be hard, but all of this stuff right here that you need to build this +6 is so easily farmable for new players. I think this is a pretty nice piece of gear, a decent option. If we go to the SR version, the Mithril Saber, it has 20 slash attack up, which is nice. The problem with this one is the Assault version is very low. At only 149 attack, I actually think this will do less damage than the R rarity version. You would only build this for the 24 accuracy aim version, but like if you're trying to fight Evade and you're a new player, I just don't think Mithril Saber is where I'd go. I'd probably try to farm up like, well, I don't know, I say that, maybe this plus some like Trust Stoned out TMRs or something could be nice. So if you want an accuracy piece of gear, here's a 24 accuracy, 20 slash attack up sword, right? But so the accuracy version is the way to go here. If you just want damage as a new player, go for the 161 attack, 15 slash attack up, much easier to build Claymore instead. Okay, the Golden Blade. Here is another theme that you're going to see throughout this little review. The Golden Blade, first of all, the attack on it. You build the Assault version of this. It goes from 226 up to 271. 271 attack on a weapon is very nice. The slash attack stays 15. It gains maximum damage up 1000. So it's a nice alternative to people who aren't using Trust Stones to increase their max damage cap on PvE events. The Golden Blade and some of the other pieces of gear we'll look at are now an option for you. It will not stack with the Trust Stone buff because the Trust Stone buff is also a passive effect, so you can't have two of the same passive effects in play. But if you wanted to just use your regular Trust Stones and not mess with damage limit up, or you just don't mess with Trust Stones at all, here's another way of breaking the damage cap that you can combine with things like vision cards, etc. So that's a cool little upgrade to Golden Blade. Plus the DPS buff from 226 attack to 271 is not insignificant. Okay, the Shimmering Blade. This is Orange Sword, so it's the event sword that we're getting this week. This gets a big upgrade as well. Previously, it had Ice Attack 30, Slash Attack 15. That's staying the same. It is now gaining critical damage up 10, which is a very good buff for this sword, because a very popular build of this sword was already the critical version that had 128 attack and 20 crit. It will now have 141 attack and 28 crit. So that's a lot of crit on a two-handed sword, and you're getting the boosted crit damage now. Alternatively, if you wanted to build the Assault version, you can build a 177 Assault version. It's not a big buff from the +5, and it only has 7 crit. I think you go for the 28 crit version here with the increased critical damage. Will be a nice DPS boost to your two-handed ice-using sword wielders. Two-handed, whatever, you know what I mean. Orin and Velric. There you go. Okay, let's continue. Okay, Katanas. The Katanas are getting a good buff as well. The R-type, the Kotetsu, is now a slash attack 15 piece of gear with a 142 assault version. Like, just note, that's good. 142 attack and 15 slash attack up for a super easy piece of gear to build is a nice starter piece of gear. If you go for the SR version, the Kiku Ichimochi, it's a 20 slash attack up and a 160 damage version. Alternatively, you can go for 112 damage and 14 evade. If you want like a piece of a weapon that has some like extra evade for a build, I guess you could go this route. Personally, I would just probably go for the damage, slash attack 20, 160 assault. But we also have the Osafune. This is a 15 slash attack piece of gear that will get critical damage 10, so kind of like what Orange Sword got, and it's very similar. The previous version of this was a 25 critical version. It is now a 35 crit version piece of gear here with 148 attack. Alternatively, you could go for 185 attack assault version, which would be fine as well, or you have a 24 aim version. All three versions of this piece of gear are good. Personally, I would go for the 35 crit version to scale well with this critical attack damage buff. that it's getting down here at the bottom. So really good options there for your katanas. The knuckles, the punching gloves are getting upgraded as well. So the R version is now a strike attack 15 with a 114 modifier attack version. It's not super great, but gloves, physical damage gloves are not good in general, so that's fine as a starter piece of gear. The SR version, the Mithril Claws, this is a 28 accuracy piece of gear with strike attack 20. That's the version you'd go for there if you needed an accuracy piece of gloves. The Cat's Claws, which are widely considered one of the worst pieces of gear that's farmable in the game, are getting an upgrade at least. It's strike attack 15, critical evasion 15. It sucks. Critical evasion 15 is kind of bad. Dang it, you had a chance to fix Cat Claws and you messed it up in my opinion. However, it is now going to be a 6 agility piece of gear, regardless of which version that you build. And the assault version will have 164 attack. So it is at least now very usable. A 164 attack pair of gloves with 15 strike attack on it and 6 agility is nothing to laugh at. Like, that is just fine for a piece of gear for your monks if you need to go Cat Claws. Okay, spears. Partisan is getting an upgrade. This is the R version. It is now Pierce Attack 15, and the Assault version is 107 Assault. That's really not that good. I would go for the 31 Crit version as a new player if I was building this as kind of a gap-closing piece of gear while I was working on a better one. The Mithril Spear, which I used to use quite a bit as a budget piece of accuracy gear, is only getting 3 more accuracy, but it is getting up to Pierce Attack plus 20. So if you needed a budget accuracy piece of gear for your spear users, a 29 accuracy spear is not that bad. The Drakesworn Spear. This got really good treatment. The Drakesworn Spear has never really fit into this game very well. It's kind of been always pretty awkward because it had Dragon Killer on it, which, if you want to talk about niche, that's about as niche as it gets. It had Pierce Attack 15, which is nice, but it is becoming the PvE Spear. By getting that damage limit up 1,000, it will help you break the damage cap. The stat buff on it is also very nice. Crit rate, 39 crit on a piece of gear, where the damage went from 93 to 131. So a nice buff all around for the Drakesworn Spear. Alternatively, there's a 164 assault version of it now as well, which is good, or a 31 accuracy version of it. So really, it's like, that's a good buff to this piece of gear. Will a lot of people use it? I still don't think so. But if you're doing like a spear unit who you need to be able to break the damage cap with, a +6 Drakesworn Spear will get you that damage limit break. Okay, we're trugging along. We've got Ninja Blades next. So let's look at the not kunai. It is a kunai though. I know it's called not kunai. It really is one. Anyway. Not the best. This one is, again, just a placeholder for later, but you can get slash attack 15 with an assault version of 113. But as soon as you go up to the next level, these start getting really, really good. The Kodachi, a slash attack up 20 with a 196 assault version. That is a big number. 196 assault with slash attack 20. Yeah, this is a very good piece of SR gear, and it gets better. As you go up to the MR, the Sasuke's Katana, this is already used all of the time in this game. The slash attack 15 stays the same, but initial AP 10 is very good. Don't sleep on how useful initial AP is in this game. There's a 25 crit rate with 198 attack, which is very good. Or you can just go all in on the damage. 248 attack assault, Ninja Blade. Whoa. That's really nice. I like both the crit version and the assault version of the new Sasuke's Katana at +6. Okay, bows. We're going. We're going to keep it rolling. The R rarity bow, missile attack 15 with 109 assault. That's probably what you'd go for here, or you could go 17 attack. Again, these are weapons, just placeholders for later, but they're decent placeholders now at least. The SR version, the Great Bow, now has missile attack +20 with a 153 assault version, or a 13 accuracy version, or 21 crit version. Not in love with this. I think there's much better bow options in the game. Rune Bow being one of them. So Rune Bow, 15 attack, missile attack stays the same, but it gains 10 accuracy, which is pretty cool. Now, fortunately, this is now a 49 accuracy piece of gear that is not a Trustmaster. The AIM version of the Runebow has 39 accuracy at +6 with a +10 accuracy down here. 49 accuracy on a craftable MR piece of gear is insane. It also comes with 121 attack, which is not that bad. This is your probably go-to accuracy bow now, I would think, for a lot of people. Really good. Really good. I like this a lot. This is probably something my Setia will pick up and use in my like evasion hunting fire teams. Okay, guns. The Capella, the R rarity gun, 15 missile attack at +6 with a 161 attack damage version. For an R rarity piece of gear, 161 attack, 15 missile attack, hello, that's really good. So a good placeholder piece of gear there. The Vega, 163 attack version with 20 missile attack, or a 31 accuracy piece of gear with 20 missile attack is pretty decent as well. The Razel Gethi, again, a widely used piece of gear in this game, continues to have its missile attack +15, but is now your damage cap increaser for your gun user, so that's pretty cool. The stat upgrades aren't insane. The assault version goes from 207 to 228. The aim version only picks up 1 accuracy. The crit version only picks up 5 crit. So really the buff to Razel Gethi is mainly in the form of this max damage increase, which could be useful for PvE. Okay, rods. Now, rods are really weird because basically the lower rarity rods are terrible because they're attack pieces of gear. The issue is no rod using unit in this game scales off of attack except for like a couple of old Mashari's moves, but her limit break no longer scales with attack, so like Mashari doesn't even want these. These are bad. Even though it's 15 magic attack now at +6, the magic version's only 65 magic. Get out of my game. Healing staff gets an upgrade. So, okay, now we're starting to talk. It still has Cura on it. Magic attack 20 now. But again, it's the stat pool that's kind of bad. Like 143 magic is a little bit low, but at least this is usable. And if you were going for a placeholder piece of gear for your staff users, healing staff could be the thing for you as a new player. Platinum Rod, the OG go-to rod in this game, before we had a lot of better rod options, was the Plat Rod. It was 15 magic attack and 162 magic, which was kind of the bee's knees back in the game. It gets an insane buff. Agility plus 10% for the whole fight at +6. This is really, really good. I like this buff a lot. And the magic version, now it's 194 magic. So more magic, more agility. I think that's a great rod option for this game for a while now. And then Magistral Rod. This is Yuna's rod, the event rod that we're going to be getting here in a minute. This previously was really cool because it had evocation gauge boost 30 on it with magic attack 15. I really liked this rod before. It now will get light and dark resist 7%. A really cool upgrade here that leans into darks and lights, attempts to fight each other, I would say, or any rod user in a anti-light or anti-dark build. The stat boost on it is good as well. The magic goes from 170 to 187, so not a ton, but it's okay. The crit version is 29 instead of 21. Probably the version I would go for here is the crit version. 149 magic, 29 crit. Pick up that resistance. It's niche, but it's always been a little bit niche. It's now just like better. It's just better. I like it a lot. That anti-light and dark, I like gear like that in my game. And then we get the Sage's Staff upgrade. So here's a UR piece of gear getting the upgrade treatment. Now, previously the Sage's Staff had 20 accuracy, 20 magic attack. It keeps both of those. It now gets activation time down 250. That is not insignificant, especially for your like pure casting classes that rely on cast time to get their damage off. Also, the magic goes from 232 to 255, so you have a 255 magic staff here. That's pretty dang good. Sage's Staff just gets better. It was already good if you could get it to +5. It is now better at +6 as just a generic very, very strong piece of gear. Okay, maces. Now, maces, I'm sorry, this was Mashari before it was maces. I said Mashari with staffs, so I was even more correct about staffs being useless. Maces are also sort of the same thing. Notice this mace has an assault version, but there's no assault mace. I don't know. Anyway, magic attack 15 with an assault piece of gear, stupid. Stay away from the R piece of gear unless you just have to have it. Mithril Mace, sort of the same thing. Yeah, like, what? Are you making a 154 assault with magic attack 20? That's real dumb. Platinum Mace. Okay, now we're talking about useful pieces of gear. Here's the Plat Mace. It picks up 10 accuracy at the +6, and the magic stat goes from 184 to 221. So 221 magic with 10 accuracy and 15 magic attack. Great. It's a decent buff to a very generically good mace. Axes, Ogre Killer, your R rarity axe. If you go for the assault version, you get 162 assault and slash attack 15 at +6. Again, a good placeholder piece of gear for later in the game. Let's see, Mithril Axe. So your accuracy version of your Mithril Axe, there's actually not an accuracy version of this Mithril piece of gear. Instead, it wants you to go for Assault or Crit. Assault's going to give you 204 damage. Crit will give you 163 damage, but 17 crit. You'll get slash attack 20 either way. I think that's pretty decent. Like, if you're farming up a piece of gear as kind of like a moderately new player, a 204 damage 20 slash attack axe is good. Now, the golden axe, which is farmable, I believe right now, but I don't know that it has the golden axe been added permanently. I don't think it has. But anyway, the golden axe is getting a buff. Slash attack 15 will now also get critical damage 10, so just all in on damage, which makes sense for an axe. And the assault version will go up to 254 damage from 212. The crit version will go to 20 from 18. So I think you just go assault again here and just go for max damage with your golden axe if that's the way you're going. We got more. The Power Gloves. This is a long video, you guys, but the Power Gloves are up. Now, R rarity, magic attack 15, and the magic goes from 108 to 119. Again, just that placeholder piece of gear. I'd probably go for the crit version here. The Battle Gloves, magic attack 20 with a 156 magic variant. I think that's pretty dang good for an SR piece of gear. The Dark Gloves, this is going to be your max damage increaser for your gloves. Also, the magic goes up from 178 to 214 if you're going for that route. Okay, the books. We've got the Arcane Handbook, magic attack 15. Build the magic version, I think, or the crit version, 130 to 104 magic sets there either way. It's decent. I'm trying to go fast. I just looked at how long this recording already is. The SR version, the Monster Compendium, magic attack 20 with 147 magic stat at +6 is pretty dang good. So I think that's a decent, again, placeholder piece of gear. And then the Lunar Tome is going to give 10 accuracy. Okay, that's pretty cool. A 10 accuracy, 223 magic tome is really good. And you can also build a 28 accuracy version of this as well for a total of 38 accuracy on this piece of gear when you combine the passive effect and the +6. Boom. Nice. Next, we've got armor. We are finally to armor at 23 minutes into recording. We've got done with the weapons. Okay, armor is up next. Man, if you're still watching this, you're awesome. What's this one getting? The armor is actually getting significant upgrades all across the board. So Iron Plate is getting now slash resistance 8% at +6. The Vital version giving 615 HP, and the defense version giving 17 defense. For an R rarity piece of armor, that's pretty good. This is pretty dang good. You are still eating the -3 agility, which sucks, but the rest of the stats on the shield piece of gear in particular are great. Okay, Mithril Armor. Previously, this was budget evade for your plate wearers. It is not gaining any evade. Instead, it is gaining 10% more strike resistance, and they're kind of just making it into more of a generic strike resistance piece of gear. The evade version only actually gains 2 more evade, so I think what they want you to do instead is build the shield version. So going for a 16 defense and 10 strike resistance piece of gear there if you need strike resistance. Golden Armor, which you can currently farm all the time with those keys, is getting slash resistance debuff 50% and a massive upgrade to the stat lines. The Vital piece of gear is going from 683 HP to 956. The shield version, which is the most popular version, is defense is going up to 20. 669 HP and 20 defense on a piece of slash resistance gear is phenomenal. Unfortunately, it is still eating the -3 agility, which slows you down a little bit. Then the Platinum Armor is getting a buff. Previously, this was single target resist, strike resist. It is now gaining all elemental debuff resistance 50. And again, the stat line on this thing, at +6, you're looking at a 1366 HP piece of armor. I don't know who has one of these at +5 already, but that's a lot of HP. The shield version is almost 1000 HP with 22 defense and 4 spirit. That's nuts. So I think the Platinum Armor is going to be really, really good for a generic piece of armor at +6. The helmets are all still bad. Helmets are basically missile resistance piece of gear with bad stat lines. They continue to be that. I'm just going to kind of skip through this. The golden helmet picks up missile resistance debuff resist, but it's still just a 401 HP, 13 defense piece of gear with some missile resist. So I think helmets are bad now, and they're still bad at +6. Hats. Triangle hat. This is budget evasion gear. So the triangle hat is 8 evasion at +6, and the dodge version has 17 dodge for a total of 25 evasion from that piece of gear. If we look at the circlet, it's a 10 evasion passive ability with the dodge version being 21, and now you're looking at a 31 evasion piece of budget evasion gear. For somebody like a Shadow Lynx who's trying to clear dark selection because you're a new player, she's one of the first people you worked on, this is a good enough piece of gear to help you get that job done. This will help you out there. 31 evade, yeah, that's real good. Then the Sage's hat. Evasion rate is staying at 8, but you're also picking up 15 critical evade, which is, I'm lukewarm on that buff, but I am warm on the jump from 19 evade to 27 evade on the dodge form of this. That's very, very nice. So in total, 27 plus 8 is a 35 evasion piece of gear that is in the game forever and farmable. Okay, good deal. Clothes. Scholar's robe. 8% magic resist. If you go for the barrier route, 237 HP and 16 spirit. So cheap budget spirit piece of gear. Mirage Vest, magic resist 10. If you go the barrier route, it's 13 spirit, 289 HP. This is better for the shield version at 14 defense and 289 HP probably, but it's a skip. I don't think Mirage Vest is good in any situation. The Smart Coat. Now, Smart Coat's already a really good piece of gear. Magic resist is staying at 8%. You are picking up magic resistance debuff resistance. And the Vital version, now 671 HP, but more importantly, the barrier version is now 469 HP and 23 spirit, up from 335 and 21. So an already very good anti-magic spirit piece of gear gets a little bit better in the Smart Coat. Okay, Hero's Ring now gives 8 evasion. Yeah, I don't know, like, if you're going real budget evasion, you could pick up 8 passive evasion from the Hero's Ring. Okay, it's sort of just whatever, nobody wears that. Fairy Ring, silence resistance was always its thing. It now has 10 evasion in the passive slot, but no evasion type. So yeah, again, it's a very, very niche. The Jeweled Ring, evasion 8. Now, though, this is interesting. It restores 5 AP when performing a critical hit. Maybe this has a niche use for like a unit in PvE that is starts with a decent amount of AP and can sustain through a fight, hitting and critting every turn by regenerating 5 AP. I guess that's the goal here, but again, no evasion piece. This is still just a niche paralyzed resistance piece of gear in my opinion. Hermes Sandals. Now, this is insane. The Hermes Sandals are popping off. All right. You have immobilize resist, which is whatever. You have acquired AP 30%, which is still good. 10 evasion, and there's a dodge version of this that now has 24 dodge. So it's a 34 evasion piece of gear now, up from only 12 here. We're now at 34 with 24 plus this 10. And when you perform a critical hit, you will get an agility 15% buff for 3 turns. Are you kidding me? Starlight Ellen is going to be out here critting people and then lapping them even harder than she was lapping them before. I got COVID from just reading how good this is. So if you have a +6 Hermes Sandals, congratulations. You have one of the better pieces of gear in the game, probably. That's insanely good. And then Tyus's necklace, last but not least, almost 30 minutes into this video. Previously, what you did with Tyus' necklace, you ran the barrier version. 16 spirit, 324 HP on an accessory was good, plus 20 dex and 2 accuracy. That is now a 357 HP with 18 spirit, 22 dex, and 3 accuracy, and it's picking up a new passive, which is TP plus 15%, which sucks. So Tyus' necklace remains good because the critical damage buff and magic resist mixed with the high spirit just makes this such a good piece of accessory. The TP buff is trash. Yeah, that sucks. So we end it on a cold note right after talking about this is probably the best one. Now, getting a +6 Hermes Sandals, good luck. Getting those recipes is going to be a slog, but if you did, you're cashing in with one of the better pieces of gear I've seen, and that's going to do it. Thank you guys for sticking with this one. It's so long I'm not doing an account review at the end because it's already 30 minutes and 20 seconds, but if you stuck through this the whole time, the algorithm and I both love you a lot. Okay guys, good luck building your +6 pieces of gear, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.